In the previous presentations, both databases on disk and links to databases on servers, pre-configured in ArcGIS, were used. The second part of this topic will deal with configuring the connection to other servers and loading databases on them. In geographic information systems, connections to online data servers are generally of three main types, although there may be other types. These are connections of the type WMS, Web Map Service, WMTS, Web Map Tile Service, and WFS, Web Feature Service. For a more in-depth knowledge of the characteristics of these services, we recommend consulting the ArcGIS documentation, particularly the OGC Web Services topic pages dedicated to these services. Regardless of the data model hosted on the servers, be it rasters or vectors, the data provided by the WMS and WMTS services is substantially different from that provided by the WFS service. In the case of the WMS and WMTS services, even if the data hosted on the server are vectors, the service only provides images, with a predefined symbology that cannot be configured. The main difference between the WMS and WMTS services is that the WMS service provides images as requests are addressed to it, according to the area and scale requested, while the WMTS service provides pre-rendered images in mosaics, which results in faster and more efficient performance in a GIS environment. In contrast, the WFS service makes objects available in the vector model, allowing their attributes to be consulted and copies to be created, if the server permits. So, let's look at these and other characteristics by way of an example. The ICNF GeoCatalog provides addresses for geographical data sets. For example, for the National Network of Protected Areas, in addition to the possibility of directly downloading data in shapefile and KML formats, addresses are provided for access by WMS and WFS. Let's start with the WMS service. Copy the address and return to ArcGIS. Configuring servers can be done using various commands. One of them is the connections server. New WMS server command from the project group. In the Insert ribbon. In the window that opens, paste the server address and click OK. In this case, the address is added exclusively to this project and can be accessed from the Project tab of the Catalog panel. If you wish, you can order its inclusion in the Favorites tab of the Catalog panel. An alternative is to use the Add Item Server New WMS Server command on the Favorites tab. In the Insert ribbon. In this case, the server is added to the Favorites tab of the Catalog panels and is available for any future project. It is also possible to add it to the project. The third option is identical to the previous one, using the same command, but this time located in the Favorites tab of the Catalog panel. If you add the service layer to the Contents panel, you'll notice that although it looks identical to a vector model layer, it doesn't allow you to access any attributes or change its symbology. In other words, this type of service returns georeferenced images, which are consumed as they are made available. The procedure for configuring WFS services is very similar to the one I showed for WMS services, but using the new WFS service command, obviously. So, let's copy the WFS address Go back to ArcGIS. Run the new WFS server command. Paste the address. Run the command. And add the layer to the Contents panel. As you can see, this service allows you to change the symbology and access the layer's attribute table. Access to the layer's attribute table makes it possible to analyze the data based on the attribute values. Access to geometry makes it possible to analyze data based on the spatial position of polygons. If you consume the data directly from the server, you cannot edit its geometry. But if the server allows you to export it, you can edit the local copy resulting from the export. Unfortunately, servers don't always allow data to be exported. To show you the difference between the WMS and WMTS services, I'm going to use the service of the Directorate General for Territory, which provides orthophotos from 2021 with a resolution of 25 centimeters. Without comment, I'll create the connection to the two services and load the two respective layers. The WMS service is requested whenever the view is changed or the visualization scale is altered. Every time this happens, ArcGIS generates a new request that it sends to the server, which in turn analyzes it and returns the orthophoto with the selected features for the area corresponding to the request. This process takes some time, as you can see. On the other hand, as the WMTS server provides pre-rendered images in mosaics, it simply searches for existing images that best suit the request, and is therefore able to make them available more quickly. However, it is limited to the set of pre-rendered images, which can be limiting. Finally, I'd like to mention three aspects of these types of connections. The first is that the data we access via these connections is always up to date. In other words, the organizations responsible for publishing and making them available continually update the server's databases, ensuring that our projects will always have access to up-to-date data whenever they connect to the servers. The second concerns minimizing the amount of disk space occupied, which means they don't take up any space on our machines once the databases are allocated to the servers. This is particularly important in the case of aerial and satellite coverage. Third and final aspect. In the case of online connections, if the server is offline or the connection to the server breaks, the data cannot be accessed. That's all for now. See you soon.